Hello everyone, it's Chris here from Midwest Coaster Fans. I hope you guys are having a great Friday. Today is May 14th, 2021. Yesterday, May 13th, the CDC came out with new regulations. What does that mean for amusement parks and theme parks everywhere? I'm going to talk about that in this Friday's news release. And the reason why I'm not really talking about a whole lot coaster related is because most of the parks that have opened very greatly. And there's no issues. Obviously, we're going to have some news coming up this weekend. But first, I wanted to talk about the CDC guidelines and what that means for amusement parks. And then I'll go into a little more detail on what's going on with a couple of the roller coasters and a couple of the parks that are going to be opening up soon. And to kind of give you an update on that. So as many of you guys know, when you've been fully vaccinated, according to the CDC, you do not have to wear your mask indoors or outdoors. So this is the full guidelines that came out from the CDC yesterday, May 13th, around like 3 o'clock Eastern time. I wanted to review it to make sure that I was following all the, different information in there. And then I wanted to read what the local reaction, what the amusement parks were going to say right away, and basically other reactions that were going to come out in reference to this. And then what I was able to determine is that most mayors, most governors, and obviously Republican governors have already said they're going to follow by the CDC guidelines, but then you have your couple of Democratic mayors and governors, and then a couple of Republican governors that decided we're going to follow our own health experts and we're going to do what's best for our state and our city. So we do have that information to give you. And what does that mean? Because the CDC came back and said if you're fully vaccinated, you can resume activities without wearing a mask or physically distancing except where required by federal, state, local, tribal, or territorial laws, rules, regulations, including local businesses and workplace guidance. If you haven't been vaccinated yet, find a vaccine. So that is the guidance that they've had on this. And that's all the guidance they really gave. President Joe Biden came out and said, if you've been fully vaccinated, you no longer have to wear a mask indoors and outdoors. And he automatically said, my staff that works in the White House no longer has to wear a mask in the White House anymore. So CDC came out and said this. Now, like I said, this does not change what businesses are going to decide. So some of these parks I've already decided, like Hershey Park, to go and follow CDC guidelines. And if you've been fully vaccinated, you don't have to wear your mask indoors or outdoors anymore. And physical distancing is not required. So right away, we already know Hershey Park's probably going to get rid of all that. Then we already know, if you live in the Midwest, we already know that Kings Island and Cedar Point, outdoors is fine, indoors is required a mask. I'm pretty sure they're going to change that after this weekend. Obviously, you don't want to change it right now because right now would be kind of hard to change because they've already told their employees what to enforce. The public already knows what to look at. So I think after this weekend, Cedar Fair is going to change their guidance. And then we have, Disney World, Bob Chapek down at Disney World and Disneyland, CEO of Disney. He came out and said that they're reviewing all the guidelines, and it sounds like they're going to be loosening those guidelines over at Disney World and Disneyland. Obviously not Disneyland yet, because Disneyland's in California, Disneyland's in California, Disney World's in Florida. But DeSantis has already came out in Florida, and basically, the businesses that wanted to keep the mask mandates, that's their decision, but local, state, and county governments couldn't enforce it anymore. So we already know Universal changed theirs to 3 feet. And then Disney and Universal and I believe SeaWorld and most parks already removed the temperature checks. What does that mean for traveling? I foresee hotels opening back up to full capacity. Most parks are already opening back up to full capacity. I think one of the last ones might be SeaWorld parks and Universal and Disney. But I foresee that happening within the next 2 weeks with those chains. I think Cedar Fair and Six Flags right away lift those bans unless their state or local guidelines require them to do so. And then you're going to see some local businesses wherever you go that might decide, hey, we don't care what CDC has to say. We're a business. We're going to still require masks in our business. And we've already seen Kroger's do that. So I think, by July 1st, the latest, we're going to see everything fully open back up again. I think we're going to see a lot of parks obviously remove all the guidelines and regulations and everything. And I think we're going to see pre-COVID measures again. I hope they keep up the same cleaning standards they've had during this COVID, because that was one of my pet peeves before with some of these parks across the country, is at least keep your parks clean. And then COVID obviously opened up their eyes to, hey, we need to have better cleaning standards. So hopefully they keep those same cleaning standards to keep their guests safe. And that's the only thing I have to say about that, like in terms of what's going on with COVID and so forth. So I think I think the federal government on airlines may still require masks for the time being. I think that's going to change probably around June 1st. Myself personally, I am fully vaccinated, so I'm going to follow the CDC guidelines unless the business or somewhere requires that I have to wear a mask, and I'm going to follow those guidelines. I'm not one of those type of people to think that because I'm a customer I could do whatever I want. I do follow guidelines, and I hope that many of you that watch our programs and footage are going to do the same thing. And then on airplanes, I'm going to continue to wear it just because, in my personal opinion, it's allowed me not to smell anybody on the airplane. Now, if I'm eating snacks or something like that or drinking, I take off my mask and I put it right back on, and I'm going to continue to do so on a flight. Now, when I get off the flight in the airport, if it's not required, I'm going to, breathe, because it is nice to not have that over your face. Now, I did notice last summer, which is going to be something great about this summer. Last summer, it was interesting because when I was wearing a mask and many others were wearing masks, we did have issues with people overheating and having borderline heat exhaustion. I know I had a couple implications with that at, Silver Dollar City and down in Orlando and a couple other times. I'm happy that I'm able to go outside and not have to have that mask on in the extreme heat in the summer. So that's great news for a lot of us. And I don't think any parks or anybody like that is going to be checking your vaccines. They could. I mean, that is their choice if they choose to do so, but I don't think they're going to want to do that because it's going to hurt their business. Most of their employees are already vaccinated in a lot of those parks anyways. Now, we do know that CDC did open up to 12 to 15-year-olds now, so if you have anybody that's 12 years or up in your household that has been vaccinated, you are now open to that. And then I did watch a program today regarding with Fauci that said that currently they're reviewing everything, and anybody under the age of 12, they hope by the end of the year they'll know enough about this, the different vaccinations and the virus, where it will be safe for anybody under the age of 12 to have a vaccine then. So that's great news on that. But what I think is going to happen is hotels are going to open fully back up, amusement parks, anything in the travel industry, which is great news for them because the travel industry has been hit very badly. The only unfortunate part is overseas, I don't know if they're going to allow international travelers to come to the United States. And I know places like Universal, Disney, and a lot of other parks across the country depend on international visitors to up their numbers. And also they depend on international workers. So if you see a shortage of workers this year, a lot of that's attributed to the fact they have a shortage of international workers. So a lot of people a lot of amusement parks and theme parks actually hire internationally for a lot of different things. And you would saw that last year and the year before, especially like Cedar Point. Kings Island doesn't have that issue as much because a lot of locals work there. Holiday World doesn't have that issue. But I know when I went to a lot of the different parks, especially like Cedar Point, and especially like even Indiana Beach had international workers last year. So that plays a huge role, especially in the amusement park industry. So if it's short there and the lines are moving extremely fast, it's going to be extremely overcrowded, I think, in the amusement parks this year because a lot of people avoided going to parks due to the mask policy. But I think they're going to turn around, and they're going to be traveling this summer, and that's going to mean that those gold passes that Cedar Point sold, be expecting extremely busy weekends there. And I think everywhere besides smaller parks are going to be experiencing extremely long waits, extremely long lines. So if you're going to get to any theme parks this year, my opinion and my advice is to make sure that you get out there first thing in the morning before everybody else arrives. Get on the major rides before all the crowds arrive, and then go to the lesser spots. And then if you're able to, purchase a fast lane, purchase a flash pass, anything that helps move the line faster. My recommendation, just like always and from our team, is to go on a weekday if you're able to. Weekdays are always less busy than weekends. And that concludes the news on that COVID thing. So let me know what you think in the comments below, what you think. And if I see comments getting out of control, I will be shutting down the comment thread. Let's keep it professional. Let's keep it nice. There's no need to attack each other, and I know somebody's going to, and they're going to be blocked from commenting on our channel further from here. Anyways, Jersey Devil looks like it's about complete. You'll see it in the photos here right now, and it looks like the landscaping is done and the station's done, and they're getting ready to open that. Stunt Flyer, which is over in Silverwood, is already completely done. They're testing it right now. You'll see this video right here right now of it testing. This was actually shown yesterday on their channel, on their, not their channel, but their Twitter account and Instagram account. So that's amazing right there. And obviously it's going to speed up. They already said it's already speeding up. That was the first test run on that. Triple Loop has not shown any progress, so as soon as we show progress on that, the new coaster going into Indiana Beach, we will notify you on that. Velocicoaster opened up last week to pass holders and has been opened up for technical rehearsals since then. I've heard nothing but great reviews about this coaster, and Universal is extremely ecstatic about it. They're going to continue technical rehearsals on this coaster probably till June 10th, obviously, and this is going to allow the crew to get used to crowd levels and things of that. So look for if you're at Universal, look at the app. The app will show you everything and regarding that. SeaWorld Parks, not sure when Iron Gwazi is going to open, not sure when Pantheon, Emperor, or Icebreaker is going to open. That's kind of up in the air right now. We do have word that there is a Gerstlauer that was announced by Ride Entertainment. There's going to be an announcement this month, supposedly. We don't know what park it's going at. There's been rumors speculating that it's going to Cedar Point. All we know is that it's a challenging location, and it's going to be world record breaking, so a lot of people assume it's Cedar Point, but we're not 100% certain on which park that is going to be. But that is all the news and information I have for the week of May 14th, 2021 in terms of what's going on in the industry. And congratulations to the many parks that have celebrated their opening day and are going to have a full season this year. We look forward to getting out there. Our team has already been out to Dollywood, Kings Island, Silver Dollar City, many other parks, and we have been extremely pleased with how everybody has been acting, and the crews have been amazing. We got to give them patience, like I said. And with that being said, you guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And until next time, here on Midwest Coaster Fans, thanks again for watching.